Testing. 1, 2, 3. Sounds horrible. One, two, three. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Get up. This is the WBSC one. So the one that well, it's kind of grayish, isn't it?
I gave mine away because 100 centimetres no good to me. I gave it to Eli.
Set up. Want to go on the field? Might as well. Umpire photo. He wants to make a photo. Cheers, man.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to Fraser Ballpark. You are watching the national finals of the Tradestaff Fastball45. Damien Collins here for the play-by-play, and joined in the booth, calling the colour on this one, Stacey Taylor. G'day, Stace.
Kia ora, Damien.
Kia ora, bro. We go way back. We've done a lot of things here at Fraser. Now we get to call a game, and it's the Fastball45, the shortened format of our game. Rugby have 7s, league have 9s, even netball have the 5s, and of course cricket the T20. But we get to shorten our game with 45 minutes in and out, modified rules. It's all action here at Fraser Ballpark.
Correct, yeah, it's a lovely little game. Last week we got to put our Hutt Valley foot forward and we fell over at the last hurdle. But yeah, it's a great little game for thinking softball, Damien. It makes you think fast, quick, it's instinctual, so hopefully we get to see a little bit of that today.
Absolutely. Well, mate, you like you said, you just got to play it last week. What did you guys take away from it, from that bit of a gap that we've had with fastball?
Just once again, it's about thinking on your feet. It's about being very aggressive as a coach. It's looking to bring the short game into play as well as the long ball, but it's definitely, like I say, instinctual and very fast moving.
Yeah, I saw you in the coach's box down in third, but yeah, you had a little young man there, Stevie Dean's, hanging from the gate as usual.
Yeah, Stevie's a treasure. He is doing a lot of good things around softball, and being able to be a part of a team with him is good for learning, and it's also good just for being around Stevie. He's an energetic person, and he makes the game fun.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about fun. It is Fastball45 coming at you from Fraser Ballpark in the beautiful Lower Hutt region. It is Bauer Smokehouse Kaiapoi versus Waitakere Bears. It's north versus south, of course. 3 teams are here from each of the women's, 3 from the men's, and they're all representing their region. And leading off for the south, Kaiapoi, is the catcher, number 24, Lindsay Thomas. We're getting set. You're going to see that 45 start to tick down any second now. And 4 innings, 45 minutes. Let's get going. Tyler Morrison opening up with a strike on Lindsay Thomas, of course. Forgot to mention that we do start with runners on base in this one. So Mackenzie Bailey-McDowell, the pitcher, she's in the 9th spot. She is on first base, waiting for the call from Dad down third base.
Yeah, Damien, in the last game, they looked to put that bunt down to move the runner. It looks like Lindsay's actually trying to get them going really early, which is good to see.
Yeah, I talked to Mike McDowell, the coach, before the game. I said, any strategy, mate? He said, none. That was the talk. That's the quote that I am bringing to the broadcast.
Good bogey.
Tyler Morrison with the 2-0 count. Straight through the zone. Fouled off by Lindsay Thomas.
I think we'll see a lot of pitchers going straight at them today, Damien, with the 3-ball rule. So, yeah, I think Tyler will be looking at that zone and trying to feed the tube all day.
Absolutely. Like Stacey said, there are modified rules here. 3 balls, 3 strikes, of course. Lindsay Thomas squaring up. Top of the zone, gets all of it, sends it deep left. It will bounce off the fence. Mackenzie Bailey-McDowell slides into third base. Lindsay Thomas with the double, and it's claps all round. That's how you get started.
Wow, yeah, picked up a little rise ball on the belt there and dealt to it out to left field. Good bit of hitting. A little bit of sunstrike for that left fielder too, Damien.
Yeah, absolutely. She, by all accounts, I thought she had it on the fence there, but just to the left of her, bouncing off the fence of the full. Lindsay Thomas will take that double all day, and that's going to bring to bat Narissa McDowell, the centre fielder. Got little sister on 3.
See Tyler working a lot with that rise ball today.
Well, we know Tyler Morrison can pitch. She's got an arsenal, and I'm sure we'll see it over the next 42 minutes. Day 14 behind the dish, calling the strike there. One and one the count. 2 runners on. Ooh.
Another one of those rules, Damien, where a squeeze player's worth 2 runs.
Absolutely. So if they can do it, a continuous motion, as we learnt last weekend,
motion.
You cannot stop. If it's a bunt, you have to gas it for home for it to count as a squeeze play. And of course, we heard Rebecca Bromhead at first base yell out the squeeze there.
More commonly known as a suicide squeeze.
Absolutely. Morrison trying to chip away at that outside. 2 and 2 the count.
It was a nice comeback pitch there for Morrison, trying to bait her on the outside.
Narissa McDowell, centre fielder, white sock, playing for the Kaiapoi club with the Fams. She'll take the walk with the 3 balls. And just like that, Stace, we're into the 3rd batter and we've already got loaded bases.
Absolutely, Damien. And with the, it looks like, is that Kaya up to bat?
Michaela.
Oh, that's Michaela.
Waitakere.
Sorry.
Can't mistake the veteran.
No. They are of a similar build. In the last game, Michaela hit really well, so it'll be interesting to see what she comes up with here.
In the box.
Oh, the umpire, 14, already stamping the authority to hurry up the game. Bunt goes up, just over Bromhead. She can't get to it. And is that classified as a squeeze?
Looking for a signal.
And he does. We're off to a start, and that's a 1-2 for Kaiapoi. The bunt going up from Waitakere, just over Rebecca Bromhead at first, and that's going to score the first 2 runs for Kaiapoi. That's going to bring to battle a young spark plug in the second, from second base, Kaya Ratu, with the great DNA this one.
Absolutely, Kaya got them going in the last game with a nice hit through 6. Likes to swing the bat like Dad and Mum.
And Mum.
But good to see Mike out there really being aggressive with his calls and pushing these runners around.
Still loaded bases here in the top of the first. Kaiapoi. They square up again. Bunt will go foul. You know, one thing I've called a couple games of Kaya's throughout this season. She's having an absolute blinder of a season. And one thing she can definitely bring to the table is that bunt and the gas that she's got.
I think the good thing about that at bat too, Damien, is that she killed the play. So on a bad pitch, you know, we can tend to let it go and leave our runners hanging. But fouling it off kept her alive. Oh!
Well, she gets a piece, sending it centre field, and it's going to go just over Clark's head. That's going to score 1. Just holding up on the 3rd base there.
Great bit of hitting from Kaya Ratu.
Absolutely.
Dead centre, clearing the centre fielder. I think our base runner at second a little bit held up ball watching there, but Mike held it because they've obviously got a bit of power coming up as well.
Andrea Hess from the hot corner into bat now. 3 runs on the board, loaded bases for Kaiapoi. Outside from Morrison.
It's a nice pitch from Tyler there. Looks like that first game have warmed the Kaiapoi girls up.
Well, maybe Mike didn't say there was any strategy, but he definitely had faith in the young ladies that they've had in that last game against Te Aroha, the central team.
I think
Good hitting, good fielding.
Aggressive by nature too, Mike. So.
Yes. Oh.
That's what we're talking about, Damien, where if you get called on that pitch, you've got to do something with it. Lucky it was ball 3.
Was ball 3. Narissa with all that energy to get back to the base, and she gets the free walk to home anyway. So that's going to bring up to the left fielder, Raina Joseph. We're still at none down. Kaiapoi really stamping their mark to start this one. Straight down Main Street from Morrison.
So one of the rules with loaded bases is, well, with any runners on bases, a double play can get you out of the inning. So I think the northern side will be looking very closely to a double play here.
Oh, absolutely. You want to kill the innings as quickly as possible, and a double play will do that. Just one of those extras that this game has added for us to count down that 45 minutes, and we're almost at 9 minutes already. Squared up, goes back.
A nice aggressive call there again from Coach McDowell, and even with loaded bases, he's probably looking more for these batters to push the ball through the gaps rather than put down a little bunt, so you know he'll let that be known somehow.
We sure will. Joseph.
Ball.
Down low for the ball, as you hear from the umpire. Another addition, miking up the umpire for this one. Tell me, throughout the rosters that we've got for the next couple days, who would you mic up as a player or a coach?
Who would I? I'd love to see Deo Nukunuku mic'd up. He's always got a few funny things to say along the way. Gene Lutton would be another one. Gino's a very clever man, very clever softball-wise, but also a few good comebackers, as we found last week in the final. He was pretty good with both the umpires and the players. And, in terms of a player, it'll be interesting to see what the catchers are thinking and talking about behind them.
I always love hearing what a catcher's saying. Well, that's going to bounce off a catcher. Taimai unable to get it in time, and that's going to score another run for Kaiapoi, as we see on the replay here.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Down low from Morrison, just able to get away from the catcher and just easily waltz in for Kaiapoi. Hit down the hot corner where Hale's behind it to make the play to first, and that is the first out.
First out of the innings. Have we got another one there?
Oh, apologies. Attempted bunt on the 3rd strike.
2 down. I think it's pretty hard on this northern team. They just hopped off the plane. They jumped in the van, they came down, they warmed up, and they're into it.
Of course. We were supposed to get this underway at 3 p.m. today, but a few issues with some travel. Just a little bit of a delay. But we're here now. The sun's out at Fraser Park. We're in the top of the first. Kaiapoi really starting off well here.
Nice little crowd building too, Damien. We've got a few people up on the embankment. Stands are looking full, so looking for a good night.
Absolutely. Well, it was a day of competition here today, so people might have gone home, freshened up a bit. I know I did. And we're back down to the ballpark to see some Fastball 45 action.
It's interesting to see that they're playing standard positions. I know that in the men's game we were putting outfielders up the middle to stop, to cause double plays, to take steals and stuff, but they've stayed quite stock standard with their positional play.
Well said there, Space. Oh, day 14 thrown out with the strikeout called. and that will retire the side, but not before Kaiapoi getting the sticks going. 6 runs in, Stace, to start off the top of the first.
Yeah, great start with the bat. Some good hitting, eh? Power hitting to left and centre field.
Well, we might as well stay with the action here because it is so fast in this. We're going to the bottom of the first. Kaiapoi already eating up 13 minutes of that total of that time on the clock. How important is that, Stace?
I think the important comes in the score and the time, so you get to dictate the game now, being in the lead. It's going to have to be a big comeback from the Northern girls because they need to get some runbacks and chew a bit of time up themselves. So, yeah, at the moment, Kaiapoi in the box seat.
Well, the North, Waitakere Bears, they're going to start with Alotafa on first base. Well early. Dead ball. And she's going back. Well, we'll keep teaching you, ladies and gentlemen, how this game works. We start the first innings with a runner on 1. Second innings, runner on 1 and 2. Third innings, loaded bases. Fourth innings, 1 and 3. Now, you normally cannot leave until the ball has left the pitcher's hand, but in Fastball 45, you can leave at, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock. So we normally talk about 12 and 9.
Yep.
So 12 with the pitchers at the top of their release point coming down. And Fastball 45, you can leave at 9. Oh, there's a shot.
Good hit from Maureen Matthews.
So 9 o'clock is a little bit early, giving the runner the advantage, but I think while the pitcher is still waiting on a 2-second pause, it's probably a touch early.
Just a touch. Just a touch. Mackenzie Bailey McDowell on the hill. Still only, 15, 16 years old. Had herself a season, I tell you. Dominated 17s, dominated 19s. Well, no, actually, Auckland did. But she was up there with all the stats, and she's still got a big future ahead of her. And she is pitching to another young lady, Shia Hale. Safe called. Thomas with the arm to Waitakere at shortstop. And
there's the advantage of the 9 o'clock leaving, I think, Dan.
Yep,
Just
absolutely.
A step.
Matthews now safe on second base. Hale. 3 balls, waiting for that fourth. They'll get used to it. It's only their second game. First for the North. And now in a bat, Tyann Bromhead Lamalu.
So can you tell me here, is this a niece or a daughter?
This is Kyla's daughter.
Excellent.
Second generation. Yes, of course, the 3 Bromhead sisters, Rebecca, Tegan, and Kyla. And this is the next generation coming through.
Always cool when that gets to happen.
Absolutely. Both in NFC uniforms earlier in the season. Well, early in the season, you remember, October. Have you ever been to a colder NFC?
Well, cold and hot. One day it was 27, the next day it was 15.
It was messed up.
Another great shot.
Bailey McDowell sends it down, takes some speed off it. And Bromhead Lamalu just sends it straight back at her, going up centre field. And what started off with an early run and a first out, now the North have loaded the bases, and they're going to bring some experience to the batter's box in the first base of Rebecca Bromhead, the vice captain of the New Zealand White Sox.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Dion has loaded up this team in a way that he's put his power to the end of the order, which is, I guess, in this sort of format of the game, is an interesting way to do it. Get your runners on, and then let's see what the power can do a bit later on.
Well, the North have to do something. They tried for the squeeze. Didn't go. Now the rundown, the classic rundown play. And they get the tag. The North had already set up shop on third base. There was no way where she was going back to that one, but for the second out, not a bad way to show these young kids in the crowd how a rundown's done.
Really good to see the base runners too taking those bases. They knew they were in a little bit of trouble, so they're not in too bad of a position. Still runners in scoring position.
Well, definitely safe there. Scoring the run. Shia Hale. Now that's a niece, isn't it? Shia Hale?
Donnie's niece, or is?
I'm sure it's niece.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Could be wrong.
There, the Hale family. I think Coach Dion will be a little bit disappointed that those bunts didn't go down, and just happy that that run got in.
Yep, they'll be happy with that run considering they've left a couple on, but they needed to get one on the board at least.
That was just one.
Just another 5 to go. No, 4 to go. 5-1. Thought it was 6 before. But that was it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Fastball 45 action right after this. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, here at Fraser Ballpark for the 2023 Tradestaff Fastball 45. It is the top of the second base. Kaiapoi from the south are now in a bat. And with the second innings comes 2 runners on base, first and second. And this is where us as commentary have to figure out who the last 2 were and keep up to date with all this fast action that this game has. 4 umpires, 2 scorers.
So I think, Damien, one of the rules with the runners is as long as they're not in the next batting rotation, you can
4,
put
isn't
whoever
it?
out there. Yeah.
Yep.
So they could just be the 2 fastest runners that aren't in the next 4 batters.
Well, there's all kinds of ways to play this game. Aggressive. I noticed a lot of teams last week, Stace, your team included, were going with the 2 outfield, 7 infield approach, doubling up and short in the middles, trying to get that tag, having that extra person at 2 or 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah, so we pulled the right fielder in, or we actually named an extra infielder and named them as an outfielder, pulled them in over second base, which then didn't mean the middles had to move a lot, and we could have a pick-off, we could have a steal, and if the ball went up the middle, we had an instant double play. So it's really reliant on your outfielders having good arms and good feet, because you need to move really quickly.
Well, the designated runner on first base is Bayer. I can't see the number for Simon, I think, is on second base. Mackenzie Bailey McDowell just got struck out at home for the first out. And Lindsay Thomas with a massive foul ball. Gets the young fellas up on the bank.
Hutt City boys up there, catching a bit of softball for the evening.
It's not much, you don't see those boys around this park. Tyler Morrison on the hill. Another shot down the hot corner from Lindsay Thomas will go foul. She got a big hit to left field in her first at bat, scoring a run herself.
So Tyler's just recently been named in the White Sox as well, yes?
She has indeed. You'll see a few White Sox here playing this weekend between the 3 teams. Tyler Morrison, usually with Ramblers, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that her dad played at Cardinals in Hutt Valley here.
Right.
Stilo, yeah, he was a good player. Back in the, I guess, early 90s, throughout that kind of 90s period, when Cardinals were at the top of New Zealand softball.
Weren't they just? Speaking of that, our ground announcer, Daryl Marino. We all know Daryl for his talking, for sure.
Scoob, yeah. He is the man when he talks, you listen.
Absolutely. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the call. Kaiapoi, runner on 1 and 2. Top of the second, 1 out. Lindsay Thomas says she's been trying to get all of that ball. And that's another big foul. Another thing to add to this one. So we've got the fences up for the women's distance. It's actually shorter than the women's distance. So we're here to see some bombs. That's what we're here to see.
Absolutely. Everyone likes a squeeze play, but everyone loves a bomb. So, and Lindsay's looking good. She's swung the bat really hard a few times at this at bat.
Yeah, good battle here from Lindsay Thomas. Tamo sets up on the inside. Fouled away, does Thomas.
These long at bats are doing Kaiapoi a lot of favours, chewing up a lot of time, and are making life difficult for Morrison out there on the mound.
And another, you know yourself, another thing that they have to deal with this time of the day is the sun. You see a lot of those players, especially from the hot corner and shortstop, gloves up, peaks down, because the sun is setting right in their face.
Yep, it's just above the hills there, and it's a nightmare out there. I've been out there a few times and just not seen anything coming your way.
Sure have. Gets it down and inside, and does Lindsay Thomas finally get it? Yes, she does. She has lit that, I want to say out of the yard in respect to Chop, but Lindsay Thomas with the first order of this one. Kaiapoi all set up shop at home plate for the celebration. Oh, and they crowned her even. Well, that was a 3-run shot from Kaiapoi with Lindsay Thomas sending it over the back fence. She'd already hit 2 big foul balls. It was inevitable. Well, there's the flames that we've been waiting for, that we usually have at the park for Fastball 45. But Lindsay Thomas, wow, what a battle.
What an at-bat. I mean, like you say, she put a charge into 2, and then Tyler left one hanging over the middle of the plate and dead centre. What a great hit.
Well, that's going to add another 3. Do we have a run rule in Fastball 45, or do we just keep going?
I think with the runners on, we just keep going.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. Well, in at bat now, Narissa McDowell, the centre fielder. Another one named in that White Sox team last week.
What?
Yeah, Mike will be a very proud dad. His girl's doing a great job up and down the country, playing for Canterbury, playing for Kaiapoi. So, yeah, very proud man, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess we can forgive her for dating an Australian. Bronze medal winning American pitcher.
Well,
Mr.
Kilpatrick. He goes all right.
He goes all right. Marissa McDowell gets it, sending it to her counterpart at centre field, where Kyla Clark is under it to make the catch, and that's going to be the second out.
Some really good hitting from these Kaiapoi Queens. They are just seeing the ball. Tyler's leaving a little bit hanging over the middle, and they're taking advantage of it. I know she's a little bit frustrated out there, but she still needs to keep trying to chew the edges.
Well, we've got some experience in there now with the shortstop, Michaela Waitakere. Just her out there, 2 down, top of the second, sorry. We're only at the top of the second. We've only got 18 minutes left. Tries to go outside, does Morrison. Waitakere wants no bar of it. Straight through the zone for the strike called.
I think Morrison's been looking for that inside corner for the last couple of batters.
Waitakere squares up. Tries to punch it out, but no go. Morrison will get the strikeout on Waitakere. And a better innings from the North fielding, but 3 runs still scored with that moonshot from Lindsay Thomas and scoring the run of Simon and Bayer. Kaiapoi, the South, are leading this one 8 runs to 1. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
The good thing about Fastball 45, Damien, it's fast.
What were you bothering, mate? Let's just go. Let's just keep going. Kyla Bromhead in at bat now. The veteran sees that one. Lets it go past for the ball. Wearing 66 on her back for this one. Not far off her other number that she wears up in Auckland. 2 runners on for the North here.
I think Coach Nukunuku and the Northern Girls will be trying to push the pace a bit now. They need probably to be in the lead very soon to have a chance at taking this game out.
Yes, absolutely. Dion Nukunuku, the coach of Waitakere Bears. Good lead there from the North, but Bailey McDowell getting the strike through the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes to call.
Yeah, Bailey McDowell really peppering the zone. It's good to see.
Seen her pitch so many times this season, I forget how young she is. And she's onto it, gets the lead runner. Smart decision making there. Kyla Bromhead safe at first base, and the North still with a runner on 1 and 2, but now they've got that first out.
Yeah, nice play getting the lead runner there.
Hope Marker in the box now. Bailey McDowell straight through Main Street for the strike called.
Yeah, just looking down at Coach Nukunuku, he's kind of put the signs away and said, hey, we need to score some runs. Let's get swinging.
Yep. Usually find some green, but of course we're on the artificial, so preferably outfield. Lindsay Thomas popping up aggressive there, keeping those runners back.
2 strikes.
She's done a really good job behind the dish today and in the earlier game too. Very tidy.
Bailey McDowell just getting up in the zone for the strikeout there. Marker will go back to the dugout with the K next to the name, and with 2 down.
Kiara, a little bit of Hutt Valley ties there.
Indeed.
Mother and father-in-law, Wendy and Dave Little from the Hutt Valley. Jono obviously moved up to Auckland, but yeah, good to see you down there playing.
Get a trip home now and then. Catching for the North. Now looking to score some runs. Bailey McDowell just using that zone. Can't figure it out just yet. Can the North?
She's working the edge of that plate really well, especially the outside.
Nothing really changes with her as well. Well popped up where Hannah Simon is under it. in at right field to make the play for Kaiapoi. And that will retire the side. Mate, we're going to the top of the third. Now Kaiapoi back out to bat. They're 8-1 up, and now they've got loaded bases.
And I'm hoping that Coach McDowell comes out and talks about the power play, or asks for the power play, where the fielding team have to choose a fielder to leave the diamond for 2 batters. It's definitely worth doing, and worth practicing with the finals and whatnot coming up tomorrow. A little bit of what's going on here is something that they're trying to avoid in the game by having a secondary catcher available for just 1 batter. So, but obviously, Kiara being a practice catcher, she's got that done, and Dave's given her the time to do it.
Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got 45 seconds to get out there and get ready for the next innings. But they have called it. Mike McDowell, the head coach of Kaiapoi, has called it. Power play now happening. So what the North have to do is they have to take off one of their defensive players. They've opted with the right field. Oh, okay, no left field. Right field's back on the field. Imagine if the batting team got to pick. Tyler, get off. No.
Well, I think the issue she's having with Dave, she might ask for the catcher to sit down for a couple of batters. But this leaves big gaps in the outfield. Great hitter up, and Kai, who's already shown a bit of power today. And yeah, 2 batters.
Sure has. 2 batters, right. Kai Ratu's number 1. What can she do with the loaded bases, with this momentum that Kaiapoi's had? Slams it up.
Infield fly. Battery's out.
Infield fly, the call. But marker under it anyway to make the play. And that is going to be 1 down. So that is 1 batter of the power play out. And that's going to bring up from third base, Andrea Hess. Kaiapoi still with loaded bases. Straight through the zone from Morrison.
That's a big play coming up with that, not just the infield fly call, but actually leaving the runners where they are. I mean, that's what they need. They can't afford to bleed any more runs.
Absolutely not. 8-1 down is the North. Fouled away.
Morrison's found a bit of a rhythm in there. Really, peppering that inside, get it on the hands, trying to get them to ground out. Obviously, with 1 out, a double play gets them out of here anyway. But
I kind of feel like they actually just did get here and straight onto the diamond. That's what it looked like. We were wondering what they were up to, whether they were out the back training. Well, she got a piece of that, did Hess, and runner will tag up. I'd love to say who it was, but they just sent out the fastest one, so I didn't see a number there. But that's another out, but scoring the runner is what they wanted to do.
2 down.
Power play is over now. The North are back to 9, and not too bad. They only let in the 1 run and still got 2 out.
Absolutely. Yeah, a pretty successful power play, I'd say.
Well, that's what you want. You want those 2 batters out. And if you're going to give up 1 run, well, sacrifice fly ball, why not?
What?
Morrison using the chalk instead of the grip.
It's a nice pitch.
Trying to chip away at that outside is Morrison.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Not being a pitcher, I think I'd prefer my hands to be stickier than drier, but
yeah,
each to their own.
A
little bit of trouble here with 2 balls. Obviously, they get a walk with 3.
Yep. Well, at least there is nobody on third, so if anyone is walking, they're not giving up that run. But Morrison will dig deep here. She knows she's got to. She goes outside, gets her swinging.
It's a little bit of a curveball, yeah? Catching that outside corner. It's a nice pitch.
It's going to take the count to 2-2.
2 down runners in motion here.
And Getsu looking for the strikeout called. And Tyler Morrison, that is exactly what the North had to do in that stage of the game. Down 8-1, loaded bases, power play moves, 2 down to get their defensive team back on the diamond and only give up that 1 run in the inning, Stacey. So important for maybe some confidence for the North to take into their last bat.
Absolutely, and with the advantage of the power play here, which I think hopefully Coach Nukunuku will apply to his hitters here, and you never know.
Well,
you never know. 7 minutes to get it done.
Coach Tegan Bromhead's just gone up to 14 and said, yep, that's what we're doing. Or did she? Maybe she's doing it for the next batter, because there's still 3 outfielders.
Interesting.
I'm sure I heard the... Well, granted, our umpire is mic'd up. We're probably hearing conversations that we wouldn't normally. But, hey, they haven't used it yet. Still loaded bases. We're going for a squeeze play. What's a 4? So I don't know why she's running back. But it is what it is. They get the force at home. Tried the squeeze play. Maybe that's why they weren't going to use their power play just yet. Try and get that double up.
Yeah, interesting. Once again, it's good, but we need to push that bump. We can't just leave it hanging around by the pitcher. We need to push it out to the to 6 and 4 position, shortstop at second, and make things difficult for our fielders.
1 down. Bottom of the zone for the strike call.
I think maybe Coach Nukunuku might have forgotten about the power play.
Which is strange because we definitely heard Tegan talking about it. Yeah. She's on first base, Deo Nukunuku on third. Well, gets a piece, sending it deep left. And it goes foul. Fetu short with the scoop and relay back to left field.
Nice bit of hitting there. She can just hold her hands back a fraction of a second. Could have been 4 runs.
No balls, 2 strikes.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1 down here at the bottom of the third. Alotafa in a bat now. Gets a piece, sending it just over the infield. That's going to score 1 at least. Rebecca Bromhead comes into home. And Alotafa goes sliding into second for the double.
It's a really good bit of hitting, Tammy, but a really nice piece of outfielding too.
Power play's on. Power play.
Oh, here's the power plays now.
Okay.
Power play. Who's coming off, Buggy?
So, 1 down. Power play has been called by Waitakere Bears. The North team just scoring 2 runs. It's 1 down, 8-3. And Kaiapoi still have 3 outfielders. They've taken off their second base.
Yeah, sensible. I think that, with the power hitters coming up, you need your 3 outfielders. You're hoping that she's pitching into the inside to keep the ball on the left-hand side of the field, so your first baseman is covering up the middle there.
Wow.
Well, we are at Ocean Matthews, the lead-off for the North.
Some really smart pitching there from Bailey McDowell, just attacking the hands. If anything's going to happen, it's going to pull down that left-hand side.
Tries the inside pitch again.
1.
Nice pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's what we call a great miss.
A great miss. She has her call from Lindsay Thomas behind the dish. Matthews gets a piece, sending a deep left. Where Joseph's under it to make the play. Oh, dead to rights on arrival. There was
great bit of outfield play, Damien. I don't know if they needed to push that runner. She was already in scoring position. But, yeah, the outfield play.
And that, you might have heard the pooter in the background. We cannot start another innings less than 5 minutes. So we're going to get the official call from umpire, day 14.
9-3 to Kaiapoi. 3 complete innings. Do I announce it now?
You sure do, mate. You're live.
After 3 complete innings, Kaiapoi wins 9-4.
There you have it. That's the official call of this Fastball 45 game between Kaiapoi from the south and Waitakere Bears from the north. Kaiapoi getting the win 9-4, Stace. Wow.
Yeah, great hitting display from the Kaiapoi girls. I think that earlier game maybe gave them a bit of BP and a bit of confidence. And some really, really good hitting, which obviously turned into runs for the Kaiapoi.
Yeah, and how important was that start? They really came out. They really got the sticks going early.
Yeah, always important, especially in a game like Fastball 45. You've either got to shut them down from the defensive side of things, or you've got to go out and score a few to put the pressure on when they come out. So scoring that amount of runs in the first innings, I think just set them up for how the game will be.
Now, we did see Waitakere Bears take a couple of the chances, but that's not really an indication of the experience that they had out there.
No, and I think, we're not missing, having a cancelled flight and arriving maybe an hour just before the game, having to go out and put that pressure on it. And I thought Tyler did really well, although she gave up a few hits in the first and she came back really well. So, yeah, they'll be back, and they'll get a chance tomorrow to prove that they're a better team than that.
Absolutely. Well, Kaiapoi, they went down to TA 1-0 in their first game. They beat TAs. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, that's not what I heard before, but anyway. Okay, so that's 2 from 2, and a bit more strength. But the North just coming in straight into off the plane basically into it. We can't write them out, but Kaiapoi looking very, very strong so far. As we see out in the outfield, we've got the local kids, the local young men of the Hutt Valley out there. Oh, and Kane. Helping out, getting rid of the fences. You got to do it fast because there's only 15 minutes before the game. Of course, the schedule has changed a bit, and it was supposed to be the 3 women's games and then 3 men's games, but of course with the delays, we're going to change it around. So we've had our 2 women's game. Now it is the men's turn, and that's why those fences are down pretty quickly, because it is time for Porirua City United from Central up against Papanui from the south. What do you think of that one, Stace?
Well, I'm just looking at Big Bear out there. He's always ready to go, Regan. He's tough as they come. So this is going to be a doozy. Papanui, a very well-versed team, and some great pitches as well. So looking forward to this one. Should be a cracker.
Should be a cracker. And Regan Manley pitching to Corey Timu. Who would have thought? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we'll sign off for this one. But we will stay with our live images on the behalf of Stacey Taylor, calling the colour. Damien Collins here with the play-by-play. Adrian Rule on the producing. We're going to take a quick break on the commentary team, but we'll continue with the live images from here. Beautiful Fraser Ballpark. We'll see you right up next for Porirua City United from Central against Papanui from the south.
Hello and welcome to Fraser Park Sports Ball Lower Hutt. We are watching the 2023 Softball New Zealand presentation of the Tradestaff Fastball45 National League Grand Finals. I'm Gary Rohihi here for Softball New Zealand, the Hutt Valley Softball Association. Day 1, Game 2, a bit of a Game 3 actually, a bit of a jumbled program today as we've had some flight cancellations from Auckland, so the games have had to be rearranged, rescheduled, and here we are at a beautiful evening in Fraser Park, ready to go for the next game here between Porirua City United for Central Region and ELE Papanui for the Southern Region. ELE Papanui in the first base dugout in their blue jerseys they'll be wearing today with the red outlines, borders, and Porirua for Central will be in the black jumpers with the green borders and numbers. In the third base dugout, joining me in commentary for this one in the men's finals for tonight is Amber Shizler. Welcome along, Amber. It's lovely to see you here.
Good to be with us.
So we've got, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, a full program today of Fast 45 modified rules. It's a game where if you blink, you'll miss it because anything can happen. 45 minutes long exactly, or 4 innings, whichever comes first. So we start with runners at 1. It is modified rules right throughout. Instead of 4 balls for a walk, the pitcher gets 3 balls. And we have squeeze plays where it's not 1 run that scores, it's 2 runs that score for a successful squeeze play. We have power plays, so this is a game where we're going to try and keep up, but it's not always possible. In fact, we're not even going to get time to bring you a lineup as we're about to go straight into it with Papanui up to bat first. Regan Manley out on the hill pitching to Corey Timu for Central, and number 33, Josh Dixon, will come up for this one. Amber, as I take a breath, you want to take us through and just your thoughts on Fast 45?
Yeah, I think it's a great version of the game here. Puts a lot of pressure for defense to be able to make some clean plays, as we see there.
Straight away, we see a slap it out towards shortstop, and that's a successful one. And ELE Papanui from Southern Zone, runners are 1 and 2 straight away, bringing to bat number 90, Jackson Watt. Don't know who the runner out there was, but we'll try and capture that for you as the game goes on. Of course, every innings we're having runners advance. So in the second innings, there'll be 2 runners out there. In the third innings, there'll be loaded bags. So very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said before, keep up because anything can happen, and it usually does very fast.
Mm-hmm. One thing that's a lot of fun to see in Fastball 45, I think, is just the use of short game. Obviously, in a situation where a squeeze can get you 2 runs, you want to be all over it.
Absolutely. You see a lot of execution on attempted, for example, double plays. In the long format of the game, you might not see them as often with the risk of runners coming through from errors, etc. Well, in this game, a double play ends the innings. Mm-hmm. So instead of 3 outs, if you carry off a double play, then you're out of there and you get to go and have a bat. There's an example of the modified format, ladies and gentlemen. 3 balls, earns a walk, and just like that, with only 2 or 3 minutes of play, ELE Papanui already with loaded bags. Tradestaff, Fast 45 here in Hutt Valley. Beautiful late evening sunshine out there. Very calm, very still. If it's hit anywhere near left field, he's going to have difficulty because he's going to be looking straight into the sun. Amber, you're here helping to coach your team, Kaiapoi.
Yes, that is true.
A very successful day so far for you guys.
I know. A good quick 2 games. Got a little of a game break in there earlier, but yeah.
Well, I had the pleasure of watching that previous game, and you guys are all over the Waitakere side from the northern region. There's a nice pitch from Regan Manley. Starts high in the zone, drops down through the middle. Of course, all of these teams had to qualify to get here, so they won all their regional tournaments. Porirua and Central, and of course, ELE Papanui in the south. Travel plans a little bit disrupted out of Auckland, hence the modified program for today. With the Auckland region still suffering from the effects of the recent cyclone course, our thoughts go out to everybody still affected by that. Regan Manley gets the job done for the out. Loaded bags. Still no runs scored. So 2 wins from 2 today. Format for you guys tomorrow.
Get a little bit of a sleep in. I think we get that 1 o'clock game, so get some good rest.
Is that going to be a major semi-final or is that a final?
Yeah. Yep.
Major semi-final. After bats, Josh Lewiski, we see the play not being able to be made at home as goes in. That's going to and the ball going past lets 2 runs scored. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, with 1 down, I'm not sure who the 1 out was, might have been Mitchell Finney, but we'll try and keep up with the score anyway. That'll bring to bat number 30, Ant Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, you've coached it. Have you actually played the Fastball?
I have not played Fastball 45 yet. Yeah, I wasn't quite in the country when we had our preseason qualifiers, so it's been a fun game to watch. Definitely keeps the pace of the game up, keeps the defense on their toes. Hitters are going early in counts, swinging hard. It definitely just makes everybody got to bring their game up. I mean, even the transition between innings, we got 45 seconds to get on and off the field. It just keeps a nice quick pace to the game and keeps a little bit of a challenge, too, always trying to catch your breath.
Absolutely. And there's a lovely pitch on the outside from Regan Manley. Going to work now, starting to settle into his role. 2 runs, though. Nice quick start off the right out of the blocks for Papanui. I had the pleasure 2 or 3 years ago now of calling the very first Fast 45 game that was ever played. As it was a test game they played up at North Harbour.
You probably had to do your study and get all those rules down. That's how I felt as a coach.
We had to read the rules and introduce ourselves, but I think with Fast 45 now being around for 2 or 3 years, as we see Manly strike out and Stewart, with Fast 45 being around for 2 or 3 years, it's interesting now to see the game is evolving, tactics-wise especially.
Yes, I think so too.
I think coaches sometimes still come to grips with when to use the power play at the right time.
Right.
You know, sometimes they save it and the game's gone. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to think about out there.
Yeah. And with that power play especially, obviously with the defense having to take one of their defenders off the field, it's a big strategy call on the coach's part, deciding which defender do you take off, where are you shifting everybody, because you have that on for 2 batters. So,
yeah, 2 batters long. It's as we see a pop fly, well taken out there by Ricky Manson for Porirua City United. That'll end the first innings, but not before Eli Papanui can score 2 runs. They lead this ball game now by 2 runs to 0. 45 seconds, that's all they get, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back into the action.
He can throw it down, man. It's got to come straight back.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking at an overview of the modified rules there. Fastball 45 it is. This is the modified version of softball. It's fast, it's exciting, and it introduces our sport to what we think a whole new audience out there who might enjoy that sort of instantaneous sort of pleasure that you get from watching a game that's so quick. It's over in 90 minutes.
I know we were talking a little bit earlier about how this game is developed in softball and how it's growing, and there's even been some youth tournaments run up in like North Harbour and Auckland that have utilized these Fastball 45 rules, keep the kids locked in, keep them moving.
Yeah, sorry, I said 90 minutes. I meant 45 minutes. As we see a wild throw there from Josh Lewiski all the way to centre field.
I think as soon as that ball left his hand, he said, "How did that happen?"
All right, the runner from 1 has moved over to 2 successfully. Zach Boyd is the batter for Porirua in this one. And that looks like they're using Tikarika Kipanakola out there to do the running. A recent convert to Wellington softball from Auckland. There's a pop fly right down over what looks like home plate. Comfortably, well, not comfortably in the end, but getting under it was Anthony Stewart.
Yeah, great heads up there from obviously seasoned vet of a player coming in and reading that a catcher couldn't see that ball. And
well, we're not far away from it, Amber, and there's about 4 or 5 guys rounding home plate to take that.
Yep.
I didn't hear much cooling out there, did you? Damon Creasy up the bat for Porirua now. Another accomplished hitter within the lineup, but you've got Ben Watts out there on the mound for Papanui. Very accomplished pitcher and a recent Black Sock as well. So, you know, the Porirua bat is going to have to be onto it here.
Yep.
He likes to nibble away at the edges. Doesn't overpower you with extreme pace, but very consistent pitcher.
Swing.
Lovely rise ball high in the zone. So much for the coaches to think about. Of course, you're one of them in this tournament.
Yes, yeah.
It almost becomes a coach-oriented game in terms of, you know, they can't make the players execute,
Right.
but the tactics-wise, it's all the coach.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more strategy involved in the game where the coaches can kind of get involved, obviously, with the things like the power plays. And even another thing that come up in our dugout quite a bit is which runners you're going to put out on base. There's no rule as to say, you know, the 9th batter is your temporary runner for your pitcher or catcher. So it's really about making that call of what kind of speed do we want on the bases? Is that batter going to come back up again in the lineup? And a lot of strategy involved for sure.
2 strikes.
Fantastic to see. It's almost like a chess game, but on full fast forward.
Chess game on steroids.
Exactly. There we see one off the end of the barrel from Creasy. It goes out to second. It's going to move the runner over to a 3. 2 down for Porirua now with Tueta Bishop up to bat. Tueta, of course, recently with the Black Sox at the World Series, just gone.
Right.
Very powerful batter if he gets a hold of the ball. Porirua will be disappointed if they get out of this without at least making a comeback of some sort. There's a hard hit up centre field.
Wow.
Nicely taken out there at centre field by Josh Dixon. That'll end the first innings. 45 seconds is all we've got to start the second innings. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're just about to make a start here in the second innings of our Fast 45 game. We've got an out there made at third base straight away, straight off the bat.
That was fun.
And that was Caleb Stewart doing the batting. He's safe at 1. They also have a runner safe at 2. We're in the second inning, so they started with runners at 1 and 2.
Confident play there from the first baseman, throwing it over to third. That's really knowing the situation you're in, knowing where your runners are, and knowing if that ball's hit to you, I know exactly what to do with it. Great heads-up play.
Callum Muir up to bat as he sees one go over the top for a ball. Now, it doesn't sound like too much of a difference, but for a pitcher, 1 ball down when you only get 3
definitely
is huge.
Definitely some strategy, I think, especially against those better hitters. You don't really have much of an out pitch or a waste pitch because you're always just right in it.
Here we see the runner threatening to go. Doing the catching for Porirua is Kori Timu. Of course, he'd be widely regarded as having one of the better arms in softball for throwing from home plate. So you take a big lead at your own risk against Kori Timu. It's a nice pitch. Drop ball on the inside from Regan Manley. Callum Muir at bat for Papanui. One out, 2 strikes on the batter. He's taking the speed off that one. The right fielder's got under it. He's made the catch. It's going to let the runner move across to 3.
Comes out. Yeah.
So Papanui will have runners on the corner. Amber, he's made the catch out there. The runner was always going to go. Is there almost a case for letting that find the grass?
I would say go ahead and get that catch, get that out, and he did a great job of splitting the runners there at first and third. You don't want to try and make a throw all the way to third and let that next runner advance, so
absolutely
good defensive play there.
Manly back into work, into bat as the bottom of the order, Korsha, Holmes, Hurst, number 50 for Papanui. Well, it's an interesting stage for Papanui. They're 2-0 up. It's not enough to be comfortable, but you're always got to be aware of time. This game started at 7. We're in the second innings. It's only maybe 11, 12 minutes. It's going very fast. Of course, it is 45 minutes or 4 innings, whichever is complete first.
I know we've talked a lot about how this format changes the game, but I think defensively being on your toes and being able to get those lead outs and just really be solid on defense is huge in this game because, momentum is a big thing in softball that carries you away a little bit in a 4-inning game. And
there you go. Regan Manley gets the job done. ELE Papanui failed to advance the scoreboard. They still lead in this one by 2-0, and can you believe we're 1.5 innings over in about 12 minutes of game time. Fantastic.
Tell the
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and the batter up there for Porirua needs no introduction. Wayne Lalu it is, one of the legends of New Zealand softball. Going to work now. Of course, Porirua here in the bottom of the second innings have runners at 1 and 2. Now, you'll notice on your display on your TV there that there is a clock counting down the time in this game, 29 minutes, 29 seconds, 28, 27. So have a look at that. If you want to know how long the games go, then you'll hear a hooter on the 45th minute and the game's all over. With Porirua having to get 2 runs back to go by parity, and now they've got loaded bags as Wayne Lalu earns a walk with Corey Timu, a very powerful batter. It's almost a... do you think it might be a case for power play?
It's a question you definitely want to ask yourself. One thing you want to look at is, hey, who are my hitters? And with a strong hitter up to bat, that's always a great time to pull a defender off the field.
Yep. Obviously, if you don't use it, then you're showing a lot of faith in your hitter. We have seen in previous tournaments and games where modified fields come into play, and don't like to split it, but especially in the men's game are moving fielders all over the place to allow for certain types of play. I see the women's game, your guys' game, you employed more of a standard fielding setup. Do you think about moving players into gaps and holes? And
you question it a little bit. I think one big thing, and this is fun that we're bringing, obviously we're in our grand final tournament. We have teams from all over. Sometimes you don't have the information on the scouting end right away to know exactly where those hitters are, unless, they're your Black Sox or your White Sox players.
Very, very good point. You certainly want to know, if you're moving fielders around, what the strength in the hitting is or the weakness.
I definitely think it's also putting some trust in your pitchers. If you're going to make a shift on the field, knowing what pitches match up to that shift. Because if you put a hole in the field, you definitely don't want to give a batter something that's going to hit them right in it. So being smart about pitch calling as well.
Well, here we go. Corey Timu facing up to Ben Watts. Quality on quality out there. And Ben showing Corey the respect he deserves. Just pitching the ball accurately, but around the zone. There's Corey's hit one up the middle. This is definitely going to score runners. One comes across home plate. Two comes flying into home plate. And just like that, you blink your eyes and it's 2-2 in this ball game between Papanui and Porirua. Fantastic piece of batting that, Amber.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think coming down to that power play question, just trust in your hitters, knowing they can score some runs. And also, you obviously get one power play a game. So it's really kind of like you want to think about when you're going to use that. And as we roll into next inning with the bases loaded situation, I know a lot of coaches want to pull the trigger on that because we got bases juiced and runners ready to score.
Opportunity to double your runs. Of course, we didn't see it with Porirua having the loaded bags, but of course a successful squeeze. Oh, there's a nice hit by Sam Marley. It's just gone inside, and Porirua have scored another one. And there's another one coming across again as Zach Boyd comes across. And it is happening fast and furious out there, ladies and gentlemen. Porirua have now moved out to a 4-2 lead in this ball game, and it just happens oh so quickly. Well, you've gone right through the real strength of the Porirua batting. Like most of the lineups, Papanui's no exception. They will bat 1 to 9. But when your lineup is Bishop, Lalu, Timu, it's the sort of lineup you definitely want.
Yep, definitely. And I think Porirua doing a great job about not trying to do too much with the ball, not trying to swing for the fences. Those are just some nice hard-hit singles. And, with runners in motion, that scores a lot of runs for you. Well,
in this ball game, as well as in our longer format, fast pitch, you can't do much about good hitting.
Yeah.
So nice work by Sam Marley. He lined that one down the third base line, has scored 2 runs. He's standing up there out at second base on his own. And in 2 hitters, Porirua have managed to clean the bases and now lead this ball game by 4-2 over Papanui. Swings and roundabouts, ladies and gentlemen, swings and roundabouts. And it just goes to show that runs can disappear fast.
Absolutely. You can never get too comfortable with a lead.
We see a little pop fly. It's Callum Muir who's getting under it.
Double play!
I think Sam Marley suffered there from not knowing how many were out because he's wandered on to 3. And, of course, Papanui too smart for that one. They've made the double play. So that ends the innings. Not before Porirua got 2 runs. There's the replay of that one. Sam Marley, I think, too good a player normally to run without knowing, and he's not very happy about it. Good innings from the bat from Porirua to 4-2 they lead. We'll stay with it as we're just about to get going again.
Power play!
There we go. So power play has been called by Papanui, as you predicted, Amber. Well done. Loaded bags. They've removed the fielder from Porirua's game. It is an outfielder. Porirua have removed an outfielder. Number 33 up to bat, Josh Dixon. Lead off. He stands in the left side of the batter's box.
Smart use of that power play when you got your top 3 up to bat.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Whoa,
Ooh.
There's a couple of layers of paint on that one.
So that's really, so with this power play, we have an outfielder pulled off, and so we got, outfielders playing gaps right now. A ball down the line like that might score 2 to 3 runs if that drops in.
Absolutely invaluable. You're absolutely right.
Just a couple of inches there. That was a close one.
Let's go now. Come on, sort it out. Right.
That's an interesting one with the player taking time to tie his boot. There wouldn't normally be allowance for those sorts of time taking, would there?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something as when you're playing a standard game of softball, the pace of the game is just so important. And as a pitcher, you really want to be out there and feel in control of that. And I think that's what this game challenges, both for the pitchers and for the defenders. Everybody is, you're changing innings fast. The game is played fast. You got runners. You're always thinking. You really have to be on that top part of your game and have that breath under you, or this game, like we said, can get away from you real quick.
So we are into the... we got a hit. We got a hit. It's in the outfield. There's 2 scored. That'll even the ball game up. And Papanui take full advantage of their power play. This is, which is still in effect because it lasts for 2 batters. Nice play from the Canterbury side to come back.
Yep.
Top of the 3rd innings, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we still have 21 minutes to go. This one may very well go for. Got Regan Manley looking to hold the runner up before he kind of takes the out at one. Regan's got a bit of a reputation for not being as accurate as he needs to be at first base. The out is taken, however. We have a 1 out. The power play, ladies and gentlemen, is over as it's lasted. 2 batters. The southern side helped themselves to 2 runs in that one. They still have runners at 2 and a 3. Up to bat, number 55, Mitchell Finney.
That's a good hold there. Being ready in the box, ready to swing, but able to keep that barrel out of the zone. Just barely.
Yes, a lot of people would have gone that. Regan's got a very good rise ball that goes from low to high, right through your line of sight. Very hard to hold the bat back. There we go. The out is made, but not before Papanui. Edge ahead this time on the out, made by Ricky Manson out at second base. Takes the runner at first base. And now, in another change, this is a seesawing game. Papanui Tigers leading this ball game 5-4 over Porirua City United. Very close ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping it toe-to-toe. And again, we keep talking about the format here of Fastball 45. This keeps the game so interesting. Like we said, you can never feel comfortable, always on your toes, because, you know, you head into next inning and you got bases loaded and no outs. That's another big one, is bases loaded with no outs as a pitcher.
Bases loaded with no outs.
Pressure.
You know the power play is going to come from Porirua as well. Finney, one of the young athletes from Canterbury softball, very good player. Tall in the batter's box. 1 ball, 2 strikes on him. Does well to fend that rise ball from Regan Manley off. Porirua with their catcher, third base and first base. All 3 are international catchers. That's quite a luxury, isn't it?
Talk about some strong arms on the infield, huh?
Yep. It's Aaron Nemir at third base, the older statesman of the boys, is a Black Sox world champion. You got the current Black Sox catcher at 1 and a former Black Sox catcher catching. So, yep, Porirua definitely blessed for catchers. Regan Manley going to work here, not getting the call on that one as it looked like he was heading towards the dugout. Nice job by Mitchell Finney now, really making the pitcher work for this. Fends yet another one off.
Sometimes as a hitter, it's just about staying alive.
Staying alive,
keeping
staying
yourself
in the
in there. That's absolutely true. And I think, too, as hitters in this game and in this game format, being able to foul off those pitches, a pitcher only gets 3 balls and you're on base and you have a walk. So even just fouling off a few pitches, challenging the pitcher to come at you in that zone.
There's a nice job. In the end, it's inside pitch that tempts Finney to swing. That's 3 down. And there we see the pictures there. We've got the Ramblers arriving from Auckland. Finally, nice to see you, Auckland.
Go, guys, come on. Get those
would have been an
runners out
interesting day for those boys after their Jetstar flight got cancelled this morning.
Sure, that's been a long travel day for them, you know.
Oh, yeah,
probably sitting around the airport a little bit, waiting.
Yep. We feel good just to be down here outside and at the ballpark.
Beautiful weather today. Beautiful weather.
Yeah. Couldn't get it better. There's no better place to be, ladies and gentlemen, than Fraser Ballpark on a beautiful night like this. As it is 7 here in New Zealand, for those of you who are watching overseas. 16 minutes to go. We are now in the bottom of the third innings. This game is looking like going the distance at this stage. Porirua's turn, however. They've got 3 runners out there, and they have called the power play.
Thank you.
Looks like we got the same setup. We have the outfielders split in those gaps, just
Yeah.
trying to cover as much ground as they can and leaving the infielders to it.
Swing.
And up to bat for Porirua is number 10, Aaron Nemia. He'll be followed by number 12, Tikarika Cooper Nicola.
This is another thing in a standard softball game, a 1-run lead. If you have a great pitcher on the mound, you can kind of trust that heading into the later innings. But heading into this inning with bases loaded and a 1-run lead is a very different story.
It seems to me that it's a ball game that's not designed for pitchers.
It's a challenge.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
Very much a challenge for them, isn't it?
Swing. He's out. He's
So-
out.
Nice job, Ben Watts.
Yep.
Strikes out Aaron Nemia for the first out here at the bottom of the third inning.
Some great down ball pitching right there. I think in a situation where you have bases loaded, you can have a play at any plate. And remember, in this game, even with 0 outs, if you get a double play, you're out of that inning. So some great pitch calling there, I think.
Yep,
Definitely
so they're looking for the ground ball in
Yep.
effect for that if it does find the bat.
keep that ball in the infield.
Yep.
Ball.
Tikarika Cooper Nicola comes to Wellington softball this year from further north. Junior Black Sock from 2 seasons ago in Palmerston North. Came away with some real credit. He's definitely a talent.
Yep.
Now that will take Porirua to the top of their
One ball,
order.
1 strike.
But this is the second batter of the power play. So interesting that Porirua chose to use it with their 8 and 9 batters up. It's just like you were talking about, trusting your batters.
Yep.
Ball.
You know what that tells me is we have a confidence that you're hitting 1 through 9.
Yeah, that's
Strong
right.
lineup for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, strike 1.
So Ben Watts is behind the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. You only get 3 balls instead of the usual 4.
Ooh, chasing a pitch low there. One other thing to note, when we're in power play, a walk moves a runner 2 bases.
Yeah.
So that's 2 runs that would come in on the walk.
That
and
would,
again,
that would. It's
talk about
definitely
that
a dangerous time.
pressure on the pitchers. Here's that pressure right now on
Right.
what is basically a full count.
You talk about that. Cooper Nicola knows where this pitch has got to be. Right there, and he hits it out to second base. It's scooped up there. The out's taken, but Porirua do manage to even up the ball game.
Quick time.
5 apiece it is now. And this is a real tight ball game.
Power play over.
So Porirua have runners on the corners at 3 and 1.
Right.
Up to bat, Zach Boyd. Number 2 for Porirua and the top of their order.
Yes. Yeah, great swing. Very
Oh,
good.
the runner is in motion. He gets to second base.
Yes.
That's got to
Another
be
swing,
an
yeah, another
opportunity
swing,
for Porirua right there.
Yeah.
As that ball went past the catcher. Sam Marley out there. He's looking around. There's no one really talking to him.
Swing.
With Gene Lutton down as the coach of this team, but he's not on the diamond at the moment. Actually, I can't see him in the dugout. Not there at the moment. They are employing players to make the calls as coaching.
Right.
Nice work by Ben Watts, and he's ended Porirua's innings. Porirua do make the comeback in that one, and they now have evened the score 5 apiece. Now, I'm not sure what might happen. We've got 12 minutes to go. We're at the top of the 4th innings. Do you know the rule on a tied ball?
1 and 3. 1 and 3.
You know, I don't. That's I'm questioning if we have some extra special Fastball 45 rules here.
Yeah. In terms of what sort of a tiebreaker you have. But it's interesting. But both teams in this 4th inning will start with loaded bags.
First and third in that
First and
fourth
third in
inning.
the 4th inning.
First and third.
1 and 3.
Which we've had none of.
Right.
So it goes back to squeeze plays and double plays, ladies and gentlemen, to separate the two teams in case of a tie. Neither of which we've had in this ball game. So interesting. Here we go now.
As we...
That was exactly what the play was there. That ball went foul, however.
And remembering as well that squeeze play, when we have a runner on third, we'll score 2 runs.
Two runs, yep.
Pretty crucial.
Successful squeeze.
Right.
It's got to be a suicide squeeze too. It can't be a fake one.
Yeah.
That's high. That's high. It's high. It's high.
You can hear from the umpire's mic there, letting everybody know, and no doubt that pitch was too high. Nice to hear the umpires involved in the ball game as well.
Oh, there we go.
It's time the bunt is made. 2 runs do score.
Squeeze. 2.
Yeah, so that's the squeeze play you talked about, Amber. That's a successful 2 runs.
Got it.
Great placement on that bunt, really taking the infielders away from the plate, and it's a tough play to make it home with some speed on third base. Also had a runner here advance from first to third on that play, so we got another runner on third, another opportunity here to score some more runs.
Really professional job.
Yeah.
Really professional job from Papanui. And now we have a squeeze play to separate the teams.
Yeah, we do.
As well as a score, 7-5.
Swing.
Obviously now with 2 strikes on the batter, maybe not as much of a question, but a question as a coach you might ask yourself, 1 squeeze play? Can we have 2 squeeze plays?
Yes.
4 runs with 2 bunts? That'd be about it.
It's an interesting period of the game to go for it as well because, they still only have 1 out.
Right.
Yeah. Runner at third. What would you do if you were the coach out there?
I'd read my defense first and foremost. Read my defense, see where we're at, but there you go, trust in your hitters.
There's a lovely job out there. Number 88 it is. Gavin Peaty came in to do the pinch hitting there.
You know, another interesting thing about this game format, thinking from the player's perspective, is usually as you build into a 7-inning ball game, you might see the same pitcher 1, 2, 3 times through the lineup in a standard ball game, and this time you're really getting in the box, digging in your cleats, and hacking first, second time through the lineup, and that's about all you get, depending on how active the bats are, right?
Now, this morning we had a game which Amber's team, Kaiapoi, were involved in. There's a pop fly at second base for the third out, and that game, tell me how long that game lasted.
I want to say it was like 20 minutes. I think that was the guess. It was like 21 minutes, and we were in and out of there. It was just really efficient from both pitchers. It was a 1-run ball game, 1-0, and
20-minute ball game, ladies and gentlemen, all over and done and dusted. And that's what you get with this Fast 45 tournament. You get a tight ball game like this. It's gone all the way to 4 innings, and it's still 8 minutes to go. And, of course, this morning, or earlier today at 3 o'clock, I believe it was, a 20 or just over 20-minute game.
I think we had two double plays that got us out of some quick innings, and, just staying efficient on the mound. Gunning them. Go at them.
Well, here we go. This has been a wonderful advertisement for the sport all day. We've seen, as you see, Regan Manley get the job done on Kalamure. This time he's the third out. Here in the as we head into the bottom of the 4th innings, it's Papanui who have gapped Porirua a little bit. We'll find out whether it's enough. Then we come back in about 45 seconds as Papanui lead this ball game by 8-5 over Porirua. Runners, of course, start for Porirua at 1 and 3. They're right back into the meat of their own batting, so they're going to need to swing lustily to get ahead of Papanui.
And you know, down by 3 runs, here's another question you're asking yourself as a coach strategically is, do I try and bridge that gap and, you know, put down a squeeze play, maybe have a run at 1, but...
Yeah, well, when you think about the teams in a tied format being separated by a squeeze play, yeah, I don't know if Porirua would think about that yet, rather than just try and convert runs. Damon Creasy is a decent batter. He can put the ball anywhere he wants at times.
Yep, so we had a straight steal there as well, so now 2 runners in scoring position. Like we said before, this game comes at you fast, and it seems like no lead is big enough for Fastball 45. Always got to stay on your toes.
There's a pop fly straight into the infield.
Attempted squeeze play there.
Attempted squeeze play. We now know what the intention of the coach was.
You know, that's a question you ask yourself as well, especially with your better hitters up to bat, and it's part of the game, but how often are your best hitters practicing their bunts?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You've got one of the better hitters, well, in the country at the moment with Bo Bishop up to bat. And I know Tueta, with that swing, shows us that he's going to be leaving us no doubt where that ball's going to be going. If he manages to get onto it. Nice pitch by Ben Watts to stay away from the power zone.
Yeah, right in front corner, yeah, nice pitch.
Not 100% sure if Tueta agreed with the placement of that one. There's only one person that has the call on it, and he called it a strike.
Especially when you get a corner call as a hitter early in that at bat, it makes it really hard to stay disciplined and not swing at that pitch. So great eyes there. And
a great call by Lubowiski to put the ball out there again and tempt Bo to go for it. Bit more straightforward rise ball, well left alone. That evens up the count for Tueta. He's always a difficult out. He always makes a pitcher throw a few.
And here in this game, when you only get 3 balls, that becomes the challenge.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a balancing act between going at the hitters and going in the zone. And
that's going to load the bags up. And how often has World Softball seen this situation? With Wayne Lalu coming up to bat these days, but still has a wonderful eye for batting.
I don't know if he'd appreciate you calling him a senior there.
Senior with the full and utmost respect.
That's wisdom. That's softball wisdom up to bat.
Yeah. I do not want to make that man angry in any way, shape, or form. But what would Porirua give now to see him connect with one? Pulled the strings on that one, did Ben Watts. Took the pace off it. Left Wayne gasping for that one. Not happy with himself for not having a go at it.
I think catcher back there heard that ball whiz right past his ear. Sheesh.
Yeah, the umpire certainly appreciated that one.
Right, 2.
Very, very interesting in the final stages of this game. There's still 2.5 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to show it's going to have every chance of going the distance with one out.
Take the base.
That's ball 3, Wayno. Did he call ball 3?
I think that was ball 2. I think he might have been off on the count.
Thought he
Yep.
heard, take
Yep.
the base. Oh, well, Wayne knew he wasn't going
Still
to
in it.
first base. And Wayne's helped himself to one out to left field. The fielder's not going to get under it, so it's going to score 2. And all of a sudden, just like that, with 1:50 to go, it's a 1-run ball game. Production once again from the Meter Porirua's order. Unenviable job out there on that fence in that left field with that sun that low. Of course, your Holmes-Hurst, it is out there. He had to stare directly in the sun as that ball went over his head.
3 balls.
You hear the umpire joking there. We had an intentional walk here, and instead of 4 balls, we say 3 balls take your base.
Yes. Fastest way to go, 0 to 3 balls.
Third base. Come on, third base. Let's go.
Oh, there we go. Porirua just changing the runner at third base. DR comes on. Intentional walk for Corey Timu to load the bases. Papanui looking for the forced play. Sam Harley, who lined one down third base with his last at-bat.
There we
go.
Double play.
Double
gets him out
play.
the
Ends the inning. And that will end the game. Wow, just like that, Amber.
Yeah, that's it. And we talk about the strategy in that ball game. An intentional walk just got them right out of that inning and got them the W.
What an absolutely fantastic advertisement for Fastball 45. Time's up in this one at 45 minutes. They managed to get to the bottom of the 4th innings. And it is Papanui who come out with the lead and the win, 8-7 over Porirua here in the 7 o'clock game. Amber, your thoughts on the ball game as a whole?
Yeah, played hard from both teams. I thought, it's great to see everyone, again, with runners on the bases, just hard hits, great defense out there. It really shows that the strategy in this game will take you over. We saw a squeeze play there in the top of the 4th inning, which ultimately won that game.
Well, the edge for me and what got Papanui over the line in the end was that professionalism and that execution, both on defense and with the bat and that squeeze play in the 4th inning. So congratulations to Papanui. They march on. It's Porirua who have a double header, and up next for them will be Ramblers. That'll be another very, very interesting game. Ramblers have had a long day, so I'm interested to see how they bounce back from some of their travel woes to play against a team that's fully warmed up and ready to go. And injured and suffering from a loss. So for me, Gary Rohihi, and for Amber Shesler, we'll end that one right now, but we're going to be back in just a few minutes with more action here at Fraser Ballpark. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Fraser Ballpark in the beautiful Lower Hutt for the 2023 Tradestaff Fastball 45 action coming to you live on Ballpark Broadcasting. Well, it is our last game of day one, a little bit disjointed today with different flights, etc., but we are here now for the final day of day one, final game of day one, and it's going to be Porirua City United representing Central up against Ramblers representing the North. Damien Collins on the play-by-play, and joined in the booth on the colour, Daryl Marino. And we already see them getting tested, Daryl.
Yeah, good and aggressive right from the first pitch. That's what we want to see in this format.
45 minutes. You see the timer counting down at the bottom of the scoreboard there. People are here to do the do and do it fast. Modified fast pitch rules. 3 balls, 3 strikes. 3 outs, doubles clear the innings. We'll get to know the rules as we go through, but others have their short form of their game. We have Fastball 45. After having a couple years break, we're back into it with our national tournament. Top qualifiers from the North, Central and South in the men's and women's. And you're looking at Central versus North now. Well, First up to bat is the shortstop, Zach Boyd, and he goes down with the strikeout. He's not happy with that as he goes back into the dugout. And he's been in form, has Zach recently, so he probably isn't happy with that one. But that's going to bring to bat the centre fielder, Damon Creasy. And I want to say that Tukitika Cooper Nicola is on. He is. I can see that number 12 on the sleeve. He's on second base now, being the leadoff runner in the first innings.
Strike one.
Strike one, the call on Creasy. Scoop, there's a lot of boys around here that you'd know a lot of, spending a bit of time with them over the last couple of years.
As we see Creasy hit one out to left field, and Cooper Nicola skate around and score.
Tukitika Cooper Nicola, he's got some wheels, and he goes sliding into first, but so does Damon Creasy, getting a piece of it, sending it. And really one of those games, and just like all fast pitch, but definitely in this one, you got to capitalize on those mistakes. Take every inch, every base that you possibly can.
Yeah, that's right, with every out you want to use. And Porirua has certainly done that on that occasion. Nice hit by Creasy and great running by both him and Cooper Nicola.
Absolutely. Well, Tueta, Bishop, first baseman in here. Batting in the 3 spot. The first baseman.
Yeah, Tueta would just be looking to do anything with the ball to score that run.
Absolutely. Swung on miss. Will bounce off the glove of Early. Goes back to the screen. And Damon Creasy will cross home plates. And just like that, we're only at the third batter with 1 out. And we've already got 2 runs on the board. PCU will want to stamp their mark early because Ramblers are here to play. Tane Slaughter on the hill for Ramblers.
Yeah, probably will be looking for that bounce back factor as well after the last game against Papanui.
Yes, absolutely. Going down to Papanui just before this one, 8-7. Good fight back, and hopefully they'll be coming, wanting that momentum to come into this game.
Yeah, that's right. They'll be looking to continue what they've started here and gain some momentum through this game.
Tueta Bishop goes down swinging. He's batting in the 3 spot. And the designated player coming to bat now, number 22, Wayne Laulu. Doesn't have the same ring when you're doing it on commentary, I tell you. When I get to do it as ground announcer, I know he loves it. But Lala.
I'm sure if he gets a hit here, he'll play it back.
Well, he came up clutch in the game before when he needed to hit a double. He sure did, scoring a runner, but PCU unable to follow through. But a man of experience of Wayne Laulu, played all over the world, done it all, world champion. One of those players you just want in that 4 spot when you need him.
He still commands a lot of respect around in New Zealand as well as around the world as a top-class hitter.
One of those constant things that I was being told at Worlds was from anybody from around the world was, thanks for not picking Lala. Suppose I could think, no. Lala on base now with the walk. 2 down. And that's going to bring to bat the catcher, Koritimu. Now playing for the Porirua City United Club, but he'd be used to Fraser Park. A few years here with Hutt Valley Dodgers. Slaughter down in the zone for the ball. Just give you the defensive lineup. On the hill, Tane Slaughter. Behind the dish, Max Early. On first base is Lewis Gerard. At second base, Brock Evans. In the hot corner, third base, Reese Evans. At shortstop, Cole Evans. Yes, that's right, 3 Evans. In left field, Connor Peden, centre field, Bradley Bennett, and at right field, Maddox Rice. It's one hell of a lineup that Mount Albert Ramblers have. Fouled off there.
It's a classy lineup that Ramblers have. It's also a classy hitting lineup that Porirua have. They go pretty deep in their order.
They sure do. Both teams littered with Black Sox and former Black Sox players. So much experience, so much power that they can call on. And smart playmaking, which is part of this game as well. Gets him swinging for the strikeouts, and that's going to retire the side, leaving one runner on base. Wayne Laulu. After he got walked, but not before. Porirua City United scoring 2 runs at the top of the first. We're going to go to the bottom of the first innings with Porirua City United with 2, Ramblers to reply. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2023 Tradestaff Fastball 45. And what you'll see out here, ladies and gentlemen, behind the dish, Bishop has come in ready to go and take the first batter, while Corey Timu, who was last out, is just in there gearing up. He's already ready to go, but one of those things that speeds up the games, 45 seconds to a minute in between innings, and you have to have your catcher ready to go. And they'll try it again. Bishop throws it to the outfield. PCU. Not sure what's happening there. But what I do know is that Ramblers now have a runner on second base.
Some of these rules are put in place to speed up the game, but what it can also do is cause a little bit of confusion with lack of connection.
Absolutely. Oscar Clark on second base now. Leading off. Leading off for Ramblers, number 44, Bradley Bennett. Some would say the bolter of the World Cup team. For the Black Sox. Had himself a season a couple times. Well, you see Corey Timu ready to go. He's just enjoying the rest, I'm sure. Bishop will see one batter, but then he has to go and change with Corey Timu. And what a way to go out with the strikeout called. And time is called, and they'll swap over. So just one of those pluses. Well, we talk about Black Sox. Here comes the Black Sox captain, Cole Evans. The shortstop wearing 66. Still only about 12 years old. No, he's getting up now. 24, isn't it? 25. But if anyone can put some spark into this game with the stick, Kohler can. Outside pitch, clip in the corner there from Manly. Manly a pickup for Porirua City United in this one. Plays his normal softball for Hutt City United now. Was in a Hutt Valley uniform at the qualifiers last week and must have impressed someone from PCU.
Play. On ball, 2 strikes.
Now that we've had a couple years of fastball, Scoob, what are some of those characteristics that you can bring from the full game into this one?
Well, I mean, you can bring all aspects from the standard game of softball, but what it does do is it really keeps the coaches thinking constantly about, because there's always runners on.
Absolutely.
So every pitch, there's something on it. Guys like Cole Evans, for me, they're made for games like this. They're really fast. He's got good hitting, good speed. Defensively, he's a genius. And guys like that will thrive in this sort of environment.
Well, usually in this booth it's commentator's curse, but you must have talked him up and he heard it, because he hit it through his counterpart, Zach Boyd, at shortstop, scoring the runner and another RBI to Cole Evans' accolades, and he'll be standing up on one. And that's going to bring to bat the left fielder, Connor Peden, and another dangerous batter with a stick.
Yeah, big, strong lad, Connor. He gets anything on the inside half. He can hit it a long way.
He can catch. He can just come in for a bat, but in this one, he's playing left field. Wherever he's needed, Peden will step up.
Yeah, another really useful player in that regard. Can play first base pretty well also.
Well, you talk about the wheels. Cole Evans utilising the 9 o'clock pitch. That means the runners on base can leave when the hand is rotated at the 9 o'clock angle. So he's not leaving early, where he'd usually have to leave once the ball leaves the hand. But Evans all over that. He was going to 2 regardless.
Yeah, hit that runner is Cole.
Maddox Rice now in the 4th spot. The right fielder.
I think most people around the world would say you're leaving on the 9 o'clock anyway, so they're probably leaving at 8:30.
Yeah, well, caught some people out last week. They totally forgot that you could, and there was a lot of complaints of leaving early, but they weren't up to date with the rules. 1-1 count here. Try to get that inside corner, did Manly. Not having it.
And Simon went past the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike.
2 balls, 1 strike here, the call there. Rice in at bat. Inside pitch again, and of course, with 3 balls, that is going to load the bases for Mount Albert Ramblers. We've got 1 down.
Plate.
Rice on 1, Peden on 2, Cole Evans on 3, and that's going to bring to bat Reese Evans from the hot corner. Another player that's really come into his own in the last few seasons. Up top for the ball.
Yeah, I think Reese really benefited from a season in North America last year. Over there for young Patrick Shannon.
Corey Timu calls me. Tueta overcalls him. And Corey just steps back. It's yours, Bo. So that will be out number 2. And with 2 down, that's going to bring to bat the first baseman, Lewis Gerard.
Yeah, for any young catchers or first baseman woman out there, that's exactly how it should be played. Catcher rips his mask off, looking to take the ball until he hears that first baseman call him off, who has priority over that. Obviously coming into the ball.
Well, you got 2 boys pretty handy with the mitt at catcher and first. First offering from Manly to Gerard is clipping the corner for the strike. That's trying to inch it out a bit more, but he's reached his limit on that one. So 1-1 the count. Loaded bases, 2 down, bottom of the first. Gets it. Zach Boyd makes the meters to make the play. But I tell you, if it had got past them, they would have scored more than one run. But just the one run coming through, and we're tied at 2 apiece.
Yeah, nice play by Zach Boyd to hold the runners, runner at 3, and just give up the single, 3 and 2. So loaded bases now.
Floyd Nola, the designated player, in to bat now. Pretty handy young man on the hill as well.
Yeah, good young player, Floyd. Plays pretty good outfield also.
Oh.
Blows my mind how many good pitchers we've got out there that can have their cannon from outfield as well. It's
Right.
not meant to go both ways. Regan Manley gets set with his call from Tumu behind the dish. Goes on the inside, off the handle, and down to the foot will go dead.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1 and 2 the call.
Play.
Yeah, some of us, when we lined up for our softball ability, didn't get much, but guys like Floyd got ability to pitch, hit, and play in the outfield.
It's not fair. Oh, well, there you go. Hits it straight up. Way out of place in between the 7 and 8 spot. And scores 3 on his double. So, there you go. Scoop calling it like it is again. He can hit, and he just showed that by scoring 3 to put Ramblers ahead.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Floyd. Clear the bases.
And that's going to bring to bat the second baseman, Brock Evans. Lefty hitter. But if you look at the Evans boys, their genes are strong.
Yeah, strong softballing family. And Brock looks like he's going to be a pretty handy player as well, along with his brothers.
Very similar stance and batting style to Cole, just opposite side of the dish. But no, I'm glad he cut his hair. Glad he got a haircut. He probably did it ages ago. I just haven't seen him play in a while. But that's the great thing about tournament softball. People travel, and here we are, Fraser Park, with the North, South, and Central vying for this year's title of Fastball 45 champions. Well, Evans will smack it back to Regan Manley, who makes the easy play over to 1, but not before, with their first at bat, Ramblers driving in 5 runs. They're going to lead this as we go to the top of the second. Ramblers up 5-2.
What are you up to, Matai?
Reversing. I start a new job driving a forklift on Monday.
I thought you worked in an office.
Don't limit yourself, Brian. It's never too late to make smarter choices. How's Karen?
Take control of your career with Tradestaff.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, here at Fraser Ballpark for the 2023 Tradestaff Fastball 45 competition. Leading off for Porirua City United is the right fielder, Sam Marley. Sam was the pitcher, did a lot of the heavy lifting for PCU to book their spot in this week's finals last week.
Yeah, interesting move here by Ramblers. Connor Pedon's playing over there on third. It's leaving the 2 outfielders, with Porirua having runners on first and second.
That's definitely something you're going to see in Fastball 45. People changing it up where their players stand. Ready for the pass, ready for the tag, having an extra infielder, one less outfielder, and we're not even at power plays yet.
No.
But Ramblers definitely trying to play the game. And I'm sure Nathan Nukunuku studied this left, right, and centre to give the details and the instructions of what the boys to do out there. Sam Marley gets the walk. He's safe on first. And that's going to bring to bat Rick Manson, the second baseman. Just the ball, just top of the zone there. Wayne Laulu on third in scoring position. So is Ollie Smith on second. Loaded bases with the second batter of the innings. That's the great thing about Fastball 45. It gives you a chance to get up early in the count. Ooh, okay. I mean, I'd never say that, but I did. Sorry. Inside, clipping the inside zone for the strike called. And that gets fouled back.
I guess there's a hitter in this format of the game with only 3 balls. You could tend to close your zone a little bit, so be a little bit more picky about the pitches you go.
Well, he's nothing gets past, not a lot gets past Cole Evans at shortstop, and he just showed that, getting the force to the hot corner to his brother at third. They tried to get it over to Gerard in time to get that double play, which of course would have cleared the innings, but just in time was Rick Manson, who went sliding into first base to make sure he was there. And that's going to bring to bat the third baseman, Aaron Nemia. Nemia back in the batter's box, being told to get his foot right in there. Hits the zone for the strike called.
A few grinds from the crowd.
Everyone's an umpire until it's their turn to do the duty, though, eh?
That's it.
Oh, gets a screamer down the hot corner, but Reese Evans comes in, scoops it up with the underhand over to first for the second outs. And that's going to bring to bat the left fielder, Takitaka Cooper Nicola. We've had a couple years to work on that name after announcing him at the Junior Worlds in Palmerston North in 2020, before the world completely went kaput. But we're back in tournaments now. It's great to see some of this young talent and experienced players trying our Fastball 45.
It's great for these players to start playing against each other a bit more again, so that we're all facing the best players around the country.
Yeah, it's weird not getting, not having an NFC to look forward to as we normally do later in the season. Of course, we had that in the tropical weather. It was Christchurch in October. We had multiple weathers actually that tournament.
Yeah. That was just on one day.
Yeah. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cooper Nicola. Swung on a miss to level the count 2-2. PCU with runners on 3 and 2 2 runners in scoring position to get this game level, but it is 2 down. Tries to get that bottom of that zone again, but just no go there one. And Cooper Nicola make his way to first base with the walk, and that's going to bring to bat. Lead off the shortstop, Zach Boyd. Zach Boyd, still a young one, really coming into his own. Bit frustrated there, fouling that off. He thought he had that one. PCU. 2 down, loaded bases, top of the second, through the zone, and it will be chipped down to Reese Evans in the hot corner, who will get over to Gerard to make the play, and that's going to retire the side, but not before. PCU clawed back a couple more runs, but Ramblers still leading this one as we go to the bottom of the second innings. Ramblers 5, PCU 3. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the bottom of the second innings, and there you see the sky overlooking Fraser Ballpark in Lower Hutt. First base cameraman Rico Morris getting a great shot there, and with the panning as well. Nice work, Neff. Well, leading off for Mount Albert Ramblers is going to be number 30, the catcher, Max Early. And, of course, they've got runners on 2 and 1. Now, the runners don't have to be the last 2 batters. They can be anywhere as long as they're not in the next 4 batters, which is the rule. So, Oscar Clark is on 2. Brock Evans on 1.
Oscar's off.
Inside.
It's squared up for the bunted early, trying to slow down Timu a little bit, but a trusty arm of Timu will get the ball to 3 no matter what. Just in time was Oscar Clark. Of course, another bonus of being able to leave that touch early.
Yeah, that's right, especially that steal from 2 to 3. Oscar certainly got away nice and quick.
Manly just taking some pace off that one. Fouled away does early. And look at that. We're at the bottom of the second and only 14 minutes to go. Clip in the outside corner for the strikeout called. Manly gets his target. And that will be the first out. So Ramblers with runners on 1 and 2 are going to bring top of the shop the centre fielder Bradley Bennett. And Bennett, he knows how to find some green, that's for sure. And I'm not talking about the infield here at this artificial turf at Fraser Park. Scoop, thoughts on the artificial?
Yeah.
Well said, mate. Well said. My thoughts as well.
Well, the thing I like about the artificial is that you get a bit more of a truer bounce, I suppose, and for the players, it's nicer to slide on. Yeah. I haven't really played on artificial, so it's hard for me to comment. But
yeah,
I know you can't really have international ball here, so.
Manly tries for the outside pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the call. Bradley Bennett. His traditional swinging of the hips as he's in the box ready for the pitch. Not a lot changes with these boys. Once they find their habit and their rhythm, it's pretty much stuck with them for life. And he goes down swinging, does Bennett. And that will be 2 out. And that's going to bring to bats number 66, the shortstop, Cole Evans.
You talk about them, they have their habits and the routines, which is cool. Sometimes you just need to make slight adjustments depending on.
Cole Evans.
Another one out to the fence.
A shot in between the 8-9. Ooh. Just over the base did Cole as he went sliding past it. And they stuck the tag, making sure that they got it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the top of the third. Ramblers leading this one, 7-3. Well, red sky at night. Shepherd's Delight, isn't it? Something like that. Well, we're on day 1 of the 2023 Fastball 45 competition. Thanks to our good friends at Tradestaff. And we're in the top of the third. You know what that means, Scoob. Bases loaded to kick this one off.
Yeah. Exciting innings here. Damon Creasy. Opportunity here. Help us the team. They're trailing at the moment. Double play here.
Ooh, almost. Well, is that classified as a double play? Well, there is non-stop action in this game, and we just got to double check what exactly is going on. We know Ramblers got the outs somewhere.
Just trying to clarify what happened. I think Zach's not sure he was out at 2, so keep running.
Keep running around as if he was out. He should have gone to the dugout. He ran here and drew a play. So that's and we get the runner closest to home out, so it becomes a double play.
Okay, well, there you have it. Zach Boyd was out at second base, but he continued to run around the bases.
And he continued to come, they drew a play. Therefore, it becomes an interference because they made a play on him. He was already out. And when a runner who's out makes a play, it's dead ball. It's an interference play, and the runner closest to home gets out, which makes it a double play.
Well, there you go. I don't have to repeat that. It's well said by our umpire here. And just like that, Porirua had their chance with the loaded bases at the top of the third.
The play on home was already out, so that's interference. The runner closest to home is out.
But unfortunately, they're not going to be able to use it. Did they score a run?
Power play. Power play.
Well, Ramblers coming straight into bat. Here we go. The power play is on. That means PCU have to take off a fielder, and it looks like they've taken out an outfielder with Connor Peden up to bat. Not sure that would be the call.
It's interesting the tactics people use in this situation with the power play. Right. Some teams haven't even employed it, I've noticed this weekend so far.
True. Still feeling each other out like ballers. But no, there's lots of little tricks and plays in this one.
Yeah, that's right. As I mentioned earlier, the coaches have to be on the game all the time in this format, and there's so many different rules to remember. So, as we know, Nathan Nukunuku is a pretty clever operator.
He's all right.
Tactically.
Well, they got the out at 1, did PCU, but not before Ramblers scoring another run to take their total to 9, sorry. And it looks like scores have been updated as well. The ones from the last don't count. Oh, here's the replay of that last innings. Yeah, interesting times for this one. Well,
Zach Boyd demonstrating there. I'm not sure he heard the call at 2. So that may be what he was all thinking he was safe.
Pulling the strings on that one did Manly for the strike. Maddox Rice in the box. Ramblers with runners on 3 and 2, and the last batter in the power play. And goes swinging again for the strike. Wow. With 1 down is Ramblers. They bat out. I'm on the understanding less than 5 minutes they don't start another innings. Well, that's been caught, so the tag up will be made. Bradley Bennett's going to be waltzing through home plate. So Rice being caught out in the outfield is going to be the second out. Ramblers scoring another run.
Hi.
But what I was going to say is that I don't think they start another innings under 5 minutes. So with 56 seconds to go, do Ramblers shut out here? Or do PCU get them out to have another crack? Ramblers up 9-3. Manly, just a workhorse on the hill. Gets the out, throws it over to 1, and the team goes sprinting off. And as you see, the time just keeps going.
2 runs scored, yeah, before all of that.
Clarification.
Play before that.
So the 2 runs do score in that first innings, on that last at bat for PCU. So I think that's going to take the score to 9-5. Everyone running out really quick to get their plays in. PCU are going to use the power play now. We're at the top of the 4th. They're going to use their power play with runners off the corners.
We've got a power play coming in.
And I think he may look like a deer but runs like a bear. Well, no, is it looks like a bear and runs like a deer? Chopper, you can always correct me on that one, mate. It's Wayne Laulu. He's on deck, but it looks like Tawera Bishop will be up first.
Get him.
I'll tell you, they were back to front at NFC, and it really benefited Twitter. Here he is, power plays up. PCU with runners on the corners. Twitter goes right back with the foul.
Foul.
Officially known as Boat.
Yeah, certainly been aggressive on that first pitch in this situation. Yeah, could probably, as I say, close that zone up a little bit.
Foul.
Well, fouled away.
Interesting in the power play that Ramblers choose to take off an infielder.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, well, the amount of no first base.
I suppose when you've got Evans boys out there, they
Evans boys will take care of it.
Covers quite a bit of the infield.
Swung on a miss by Twitter Bishop, and that's one of the power play batters outs. But now we'll bring up Wayne Laulu. Well, Porirua, they'll take second base. Ramblers will leave them to it. Strike one on Lala. Oh, Brock's got his glove on. He just had a mid on before. They're even going to that extent. Floyd Nola on the hill for Ramblers. With the oots from Wayne Laulu. Scores 1, scores 2, does PCU. And what did I say? I got it right. Surely I got it right. Lala looks like a bear, runs like a deer. At what, 41 years old? Sprinting around those bases like it's nothing. And sorry, Lala, if I got your age right. I know he's around me. But there he did. Got the spot and got it under the fielders for the triple. And according to our score, we're tied at 7 apiece. Don't quote me on that though. But that's what we've got up there. Just so much going on for the scorers to keep up. 4 umpires, 2 scorers every game in this one. Nola on the hill for Mount Albert Ramblers. Has his call from early.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Interesting call again by Coach Nukunuku. Perhaps it's second time through the order they changed the pitching.
Nola holds up the runner. And I talked about being able to throw both under and over, but he almost threw it over Gerard's head. And it's just one of those things when you're on the dish and you're on the hill and you got to get it over to first. Which way do you do it?
You're really getting that change up to work for him now. The way I have the score, I thought Ramblers had 9, but
they did have 9 on the screen before, but then it changed. So, yeah, I think I'm with you, mate. Sam Marley doesn't want to have a hack at that one. Nola tried to take some speed off and put it down on him. Wayne Laulu at third. Down in the zone again. Nola goes.
2 balls, 1 strike.
2 balls, 1 strike. 2 down, top of the 4th. 7-7 on the screen. Possibly 9-7. Well, fouled away.
Foul.
And that's time. With probably the worst sounding air horn ever. But that's time, so we will wait for the official call. There you go, Scoop.
We roll back to 3 completed innings and Ramblers win 9-5.
9-5 is the call. Okay, well at the end of the day we've got a result. The last game of the day 1 of the 2023 Tradestaff Fastball 45. This one goes to Ramblers, getting the win over Porirua City United. Del Marino, thoughts?
Ramblers will be extremely happy, I'd imagine, after the day they've had to come out and play such a quality team like Porirua with their hitting lineup and good pitching. to come out with a victory today. They certainly tried to use just about every tool they had. We didn't really see any squeezes in their game, but the way they were hitting, not surprised. So, yeah, good game by Ramblers, both defensively and offensively.
4 games in the bag on day 1. We're going to have a bit more on day 2. But what do you think the players are going to take from day 1 and put it into day 2?
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll go back and think about what happened and what people did, and perhaps how they can utilise some of the learnings they took out of today, just to better themselves as individuals and also as a unit. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some real quality ball tomorrow and teams coming out to really give it to each other.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, mate, for joining me in the commentary booth once again. Always appreciate having your expert analysis around. So Daryl Marino on the colour, Damien Collins with the play-by-play. We're going to sign off for day 1 of the 2023 Tradestaff Fastball 45. We'll see you tomorrow right here from Fraser Ballpark, Lower Hutt.
Beautiful.